Well, welcome to New Zealand, and we're finally in Auckland. And today is also van day, so we have been staying in Auckland for a little while, just really getting our life together, washing clothes, planning, organising, booking a few things. But today we finally pick up our van and we're going to start our trip around New Zealand. Now, we did and ah over whether to buy a van or whether to rent a van, and we ultimately decided that it would be better for us, because we are not mechanically minded, to rent a van. So we decided to use a company called Juicy, and we went through a company called Rat Pack, who helped us organise it, and they even gave us a little bit of a discount. So all in all, worked out pretty well. We went for a slightly larger van, just with us being in the van for quite a few months, just so we have enough space and to make it a little bit more comfy. So now that we've made it to the airport, we need to go and get our pickup, and we're going to go pick her up. So let's go. Say hello to Daphne.
You'll see the difference now. If we change it, you'll know how. Of our paths, feelings part our ways, keeping us close but estranged now. Dreams holding us closer. Meadows of
Well, welcome to campsite 1. So the campsite tonight is in a town called Omamari, which is about 3 hours north of Auckland. We're starting here because one of our first stops that we're going to is called Lake Kaiwi, and it's meant to be a beautiful freshwater lake. So we've made the trip up here to start, and then from there we're going to make our way all the way down to Queenstown. So after what was a very surprisingly peaceful night's sleep on the beach last night in the van, we've come across to Lake Kaiwi, which you can see just behind me here, which is a huge freshwater lake. And the water, bear in mind it's still springtime, the water is like bath water, it's still lovely and warm. But we've come here because there is free showers, but also this is where we wanted to spend the day. Now, unfortunately, our day is being cut a little bit dry, a little bit short, because we need to head back to the local town. When we picked up our van yesterday, it was missing a couple of things. The gas canister was unfortunately empty, so we haven't been able to cook, and the USB charging also seems to be missing. But Juicy have been great. We gave them a quick call, they've arranged us to see someone this afternoon to fix it all, so can't fault them for that, but we need to go do that first. So now that we've had a little bit of breakfast and a coffee, we're going to head, fix the van, and then get on the road. Morning, Daphne. Well, it's been a few days since we picked up the camera. We've just been having a very nice drive around. We did go up and visit the glowworm caves of Waipu, but like I say, it's a cave and it has to be extremely dark, so the GoPro picked up absolutely nothing. But we've had a little bit of explore north of Auckland, and we've now made our way all the way south past Auckland, and we've arrived at the obligatory New Zealand visit, which is Hobbiton. Now, I've pretty much been dragged along to this. I haven't actually watched any of the films. We watched half of the first one because it's extremely long, but this is something Ethan has wanted to come along to for quite a long time. So we knew when we were heading back this way, it had to be somewhere that we had to stop off. But it's obviously one of the absolute highlights of New Zealand anyway. So we've camped Daphne out in the car park, and we're here at the entrance. We're going to go jump on the bus now and head off to the set.
waiting weeks for this delivery.
The tree that was on top of that hobbit hole there is actually completely artificial. There was originally an oak tree for one of the films, but between films the oak tree unfortunately didn't make it a happy home, and it came back looking very sad and pretty much dead. So what they ended up doing is creating a completely artificial tree, which you would not guess. It looks completely real, and it has over 300,000 silk leaves, which are all hand painted. Pretty excessive. You off to the pub, mate?
I'm getting a pint.
Ethan wants to move here because he finally feels over 6 feet tall.
I'm a hobbit.
And now we're off for a pint in the Green Dragon. Now, I've only seen one of the Lord of the Rings films, so I'm very low on the fan scale, but even for someone who's never really seen the films, Hobbiton's a fantastic place just to come and visit, just to see a movie set, and it's just a really nice place to visit, to be honest. And now that we're finished here at Hobbiton, we are going to get back in Daphne and we're heading over to Rotorua, which is going to be our next stop. Welcome to Rotorua. Now, this town has a pretty distinct smell, and that's because it's a sulphur town that is built upon hot springs. And we've stopped here because it's one of the most popular places to stop. It's one of the main towns on the route when heading south, but there is an abundance of things to do here. And we're going to be here for at least 3 or 4 days just to enjoy being in at least one place for a little bit of time. So for now, this is going to be home. So whilst we get set up and make this a little bit home and get comfortable, let me show you around Rotorua.
That's a strong one.
So here in New Zealand you have two options. You can either take a freezing cold shower or get into a scalding hot spring.
So we a no-go on a bath?
Today we are out in the redwood forest, which are these huge redwood trees which you can see behind me. They must go to 70 or 80 foot tall, and there are a few hikes that go in and around the forest. So this is where we are today, and we are doing the yellow track. Now there is quite a number of different treks that you can do here in Redwood. They go as short as 30 minutes on the red route, and they go right up to 8 hours on the black route. The yellow route that we're doing today is about 2.5 hours, and it's about 7.5 kilometers, so it fits in quite well for a day trip. So for a size comparison, so one thing that we have found out, and it's infamous for New Zealand, it's one thing that is instantly recognisable as the silver fern. It's the sign of New Zealand, and it's just infamously attached to it. This bush here is what is known as a silver fern. So it's called that for a very special reason. So as you'll see, the leaves are a perfect green. Nothing out of the normal. However, these leaves serve a particular purpose. Many years ago, these were used to help as directions, and the reason why it's specifically called a silver fern is because on the underneath, so you'll see green on that side, it is silver, and in natural moonlight this actually glows in the dark, and it was used as a way of direction. So because of the leaf having a pointy end, they were used as arrows to guide the way during the night or for people to find their way. And back to Daphne. Okay, so let me show you around Daphne a little bit more. But first, let me tell you a little bit more around what Daphne is. So we went for the Juicy Condo, which is the slightly bigger version that Juicy offer. And the reason why we went for this one, being only 2 people, is because we're going to be in it for 2 months. So we wanted to have a little bit of room to move around. We wanted a little bit of comfortability. So we decided to go for the slightly bigger one just to give us that. And being the Juicy Condo, that also means that it is fully self-contained, and the advantage of that in New Zealand is that it allows you to free camp. Now, and by being self-contained, that essentially means that we have a grey waste for all of our wastewater to go to, we have a fresh water tank, and we also have a toilet on board. But now let me go show you a little bit more inside. So welcome inside Daphne. Now, one of the first things that you'll see is just how much room there is above. There's plenty of room to be stood inside, especially for 2 people moving around. For 4 people would be a little bit more cramped, but it would definitely fit 4 people in. And as you can see behind me, this is the driving section. You can't walk through, but it is all open. Up there is the second bed, so this part pulls right out to create a double bed up at the top. At the moment, we've decided to just use the bottom bunk bed, and we use that a lot for storage. So all of our duvets, all of our pillows, all of our clothes and luggage, that all goes up there just so it can be nice and out of the way. It then makes the living space much more free and we can keep it a little bit more tidy. This then forms part of the second bed. So this part pulls all the way out. You put the cushions in the sections and that creates your second double bed. So there is also extra storage underneath here just to be able to put bags or additional cleaning products, extra storage just to be able to be more utilised. Okay, and now welcome to the kitchen. So there are a few parts in here. The first part is the main electrics. So you have the lights, the fridge, the water pump and the main battery here, which does the radio and all of the charging. And then here you have the main battery or the main charging section. So we have 2 auxiliaries here to give us 4 charging ports, and the screen here will let you know what the remaining battery is or your remaining voltage. Now this will also charge up whilst you're driving. And as we move down, we have 3 main storage cupboards and a pretty large fridge. I wanted to utilise all of the space that we have above. So we have pockets either side. We use those to hold our toiletries, to hold some of our clothes, but also we use that to store electronics and remaining food. On this side we then have the cooking and preparation station. So we have 2 burners underneath here which run on gas. And then this side we have the washing up station, the sink, which obviously needs no explanation, but you have the fresh water which comes out of here and the grey waste which goes down there. And if the weather isn't being as forgiving, which quite often New Zealand it's not, you then also have the option of fine dining inside. From this side you then have your LPG gas fill up. You have your freshwater fill up, which is just here, and then when we get to camp stations we can also plug in our electrics from here. We even have a little outdoor dining area if the weather permits it, which allows us to set up home and set up shop in pretty much any location, which quite often ends up being a car park. So that concludes our walkthrough of our beloved Daphne, but for now back to the video. So welcome to the Republic of Wangamomina. It's a tiny little town just off the Forgotten Highway, which has 1 butcher's, 1 B&B, 1 post office, one garage, and obviously one pub. Well, after what has been a very wet and very windy few days since Wangamomina, we're here in New Plymouth, and we're here because there is a Mount Taranaki, and this is one of, I think it's the second highest in New Zealand. I could be corrected on that, but it is a volcano here in New Plymouth, and this is the reason why we came here to do hikes around it. However, it has been surrounded in cloud for the 3 days that we're here. So this is the third day, it's on the morning, and by some miraculous turn of events, the weather's actually in our favour now. We've been camped at the bottom of Mount Taranaki since probably yesterday morning, hoping for good weather, and today is finally showing us good weather. Now, whilst we wait for the clouds to hopefully burn through a little bit, we're going to go on a walk to Wilkie Pools. One of the great things about this track, whilst it's a relatively flat and relatively short hike itself, it actually has little freshwater pools hidden all the way around it. I say fresh, I also mean absolutely Baltic cold, because it's coming from the glaciers or from the snow on the top of the mountain, so it is fresh. Now that we've finished that part of the walk, we're going to head back to the car park and hopefully be able to see the mountain. And it got worse.